Next up, we have Jeff Sakasegawa from Sift Science. Jeff, take the stage.
Hi, I'm Jeff Sakasegawa, a trust and safety architect with Sift Science. We're so excited to be back here at Phocuswright. Just to catch you up on what's happened with us in the last year, we're now over 180 employees, and much like everyone in this room, we have a global reach with 40% of our customer case coming from outside the United States. You can see some of our customers here. If you're not familiar with Sift Science, first and foremost, we are a machine learning company. Our live machine learning takes in upwards of 14 billion events per month, from login and sign up to customer purchase, to better understand good and bad acting that is happening on your systems in real time. This is informed, one, by custom models that we build for each one of our customers, and secondly, our network model of the over 12,000 websites and apps we secure, which I'll talk to you more about later. We also have workflow automations to reduce manual review and support your existing business logic. And lastly, we have a wonderfully rich console that's our UI to make actionable the workflows and machine learning I was just talking to you about. But let's talk about why you're all here and the businesses you're building. Thanks to eMarketer, we know that there's $817 billion worth of sales forecasted in the next couple of years. Additionally, this is also buoyed by the innovation, mergers, acquisitions that you are all performing and the experiences you're delivering. And lastly, thanks to an IdeaWorks survey, we know that the composition of the sales are also changing a lot with ancillary revenues and upsell opportunities. To this, and why we're excited to talk to you today, is the purpose-built models that Sift Science has. Most specifically, our account takeover product, which is uniquely positioned to help those with frequent flyer and loyalty programs. So, why am I here? Why am I talking to you today? You don't have to go far in the headlines to see that fraudsters and hackers are routinely and successfully attacking a lot of existing loyalty programs. It's unfortunate, but when I talk to people in the industry as a part of Sift, what I tend to see is a lot of existing solutions don't mask the sophistication or the complexity of the awesome businesses you're building. And this is important because what you're really doing is being stewards of experiences. It could be finally listening to your grandparents and getting up to Alaska and taking that cruise. Or maybe it's catching up with some friends for a relaxing beach vacation. Or if you're a proud Hufflepuff like me, it's finally getting to King's Cross Station and seeing platform in 9 3/4. So this is where I think most of you here today find yourselves, is in between these two balances. One, wanting to secure your systems and prevent this account takeover from happening, but also being the steward and the guardian and the deliverer of these great experiences. Thanks to these awesome numbers that Phocuswright has given us all, I also know that most of you are worried about turning away good customers, which is absolutely fair. The answer to which, and what we're happy to talk about at launch, is our account takeover product. And the reason we're able to do that is in real time, given these events, again, from the start to purchase of a user journey, is able to tell you what good and bad actors are happening on your site. All we're asking you to do is treat them in kind. But let's walk through an example. You're looking at a few of the 16,000 plus signals that Sift Science has at its disposal. And we're going to start with here. One high-risk fare going from Miami to Los Angeles. One thing I do not need to impress upon everyone in this room is that with travel, people have choice. I didn't want to say that to elicit groans, but really to honor the fact that you may not have a total visibility into a single reservation. You may not have the second visibility into a leg of a trip. So while this airline company is deciding whether or not to process this fare, the good news is they're actually using Sift Science, and they're getting the benefit of the 12,000 websites and apps we secure. So while they're deciding to evaluate this fare, this same customer is actually booking a hotel with Hilton. And wouldn't you know it, their reservation starts with when they land in Los Angeles. In addition to that, in our network, we're also able to see the same customer engaging with a popular ride-sharing app and they're planning this reservation well in advance, not the fly-by-night that you tend to see with fraudsters and hackers. So thankfully for this airline, they're able to process this transaction successfully and give their customer the white glove experience they deserve. So again, the Sift Science difference, the speed at which we're able to ingest these events, the scale of the 12,000 websites and apps we secure, and the 16,000 plus signals at our disposal, and the sophistication to accommodate your custom business models. Because while we appreciate you are all in the same industry and vertical, you have your unique challenges. Traveloka worked with us to 2x their order acceptance while also maintaining a low ATO rate. Lastly, from personal experience, I used to be a fraud manager at Google, Facebook, and Square. All of these words sound great, but what we want to do is demonstrate this to you. Thanks to our Insights products, we want to show you traditional business and analyst level KPIs in real time to prove our worth. If I've left you with any questions, please visit us at our booth. Again, I've been Jeff with Sift Science. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Step off the stage. Mike?
Focus group, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Focus group's in a good mood today. All thumbs
Full
up.
green, Jeff. Full green. Well done.
Philip, what do you think?
So I'm familiar with Sift Science from many of the boards I sit on. It's been very refreshing how they've come in, and you can see from Jeff's style that even though they're an intensely data science-oriented company, they have this human side, they understand the business, and fraud reduction in every way, shape, and form is like mission critical. So good job.
Yeah, I'd echo that, Jeff. Well done again. And coming from a firm that works in technology services, on the forefront of every CIO, CTO's mind is fraud. So you're addressing the number one pain point or the number two pain point, and you're doing it not from just a purely tech angle, but you're bringing it real to the business, and that just works for me. Well done.
I normally roll my eyes as soon as I hear companies start talking about machine learning at this point, but I think in this case, this problem really does demand, I think you said 16,000 factors or something like that. This is a complicated problem. The old fraud solutions where you would look at 10 or 12 factors, that's not enough. The fraudsters are very sophisticated. They figure out what you're doing and they circumvent it. So I think, and I'm also familiar with your company, I think you guys have done a great job in tackling an enormous problem.
Just one question. At the back end, I hope you're working with law enforcement at the back end to be able to identify those fraud and go after them. I'd like to know that.
Any other comments from the focus group?
I'd like you to perhaps talk a little bit more specifically as it relates to what you're doing on the loyalty fraud side, since there's been some very recent issues, certainly in the hotel industry on that particular side. So that didn't come as clear to me through the presentation, so maybe you can just address that a little bit.
Why don't you start with loyalty and then talk about the law?
Yeah, thank you all for the comments. For loyalty specifically, I think it's just having the humility and the honesty for us to say, we're learning as we start partnering with these loyalty programs, understanding what events are important to them. I was at a conference last week, and the joke with the loyalty program that got the most laughs in the room was like not to launch a loyalty program, which was really heartbreaking. But I think what we're trying to do is build more signals, events, and learn what is appropriate or not appropriate for these programs and try to magnify those learnings and make sure you, again, let in good, let out bad. On the law enforcement front, I totally agree. A big part of our Sift Science Global Network is we believe in communicating and being better together. We certainly try to do that with law enforcement, and we're always happy to talk, but sometimes, dollars and cents makes the world go round, so you need to do a little finagling there to get their attention, but we're always trying.
Great. Thank you very much, Jeff.